Have you ever wondered what your parent does after the house goes quiet, after your calls end, after the lights in your world go off, but theirs stay on just a little longer than they admit? You picture them sleeping early, resting, safe, predictable. That is the version that lets you breathe easier. But somewhere deep down, there is a discomfort you avoid, a quiet question you never follow all the way through. What really happens in those late hours when no one is watching them anymore? Because the truth is, there's something they do almost every night, something small and invisible, something most families never see. And once you understand it, you will not be able to unknow it. There is a moment, usually after dinner, when they pause longer than necessary before getting up from the table. Not because they are tired. It is because there is nowhere they need to be next. For years, their evenings were filled with movement, with noise, with you. Homework questions, television arguments, the sound of doors opening and closing. Now the silence arrives too quickly. So they sit there for a few extra seconds, letting the moment stretch as if delaying what comes after. And what comes after is the slow walk through a house that feels bigger than it used to. They move from room to room, not with purpose, but with memory. They adjust things that do not need adjusting. A cushion here, a light switch there. Sometimes they stop in your old room, not always, just often enough that it has become a quiet habit. They do not stay long, just a glance, just enough to remind themselves that once this space held a life that kept them needed. Later, when the house settles into stillness, they reach for something familiar. It might be an old photo album or a phone gallery they scroll through more times than they would admit. They linger on pictures where you are younger, not because they prefer that version of you, but because that was the time when they knew exactly how to help you. Back then, your problems had clear answers. A scraped knee, a bad day at school, a fear of the dark. They could fix things. Now, they look at your adult life from a distance, unsure where they fit in it. There is another quiet ritual that happens almost without thought. They replay conversations, not just the ones from the past, but the ones from that very day. Something you said, something they said, a tone, a pause, a sentence that felt slightly off. They turn it over again and again, as wondering if they spoke too much or too little, wondering if they sounded like a burden, wondering if you were in a hurry to end the call. You might forget that conversation within hours. They carry it into the night. At some point, they sit down in a chair that has slowly become their place. Everyone has one, a spot that holds the shape of them after years of sitting there. This is where they feel the weight of time the most, not dramatically, just a quiet awareness. They think about how quickly things changed, how a life filled with responsibilities turned into long stretches of waiting. Waiting for calls, waiting for visits, waiting for something to break the rhythm of the days. Sometimes they turn on the television, not because they are interested in what is playing, but because the sound fills the room. Human voices create the illusion that they are not alone. It becomes background company, a substitute for the conversations that used to happen without effort. There is a moment, often later than you would expect, when they check their phone one more time. Not because they expect a message, but because hope is a quiet habit that is hard to unlearn. They scroll through contacts, sometimes stopping on your name, not pressing it, just looking. And then comes a part that is harder to see. They think about their relevance. They wonder if they still matter in the same way they once did. When you were younger, their presence shaped your world. Now, your world is shaped by many things that do not include them. They're proud of you, truly. But pride and distance can exist at the same time. There are nights when memories do not come gently. Not just the happy ones, but the regrets. The times they lost their patience. The words they wish they had not said. They do not talk about these things. But at night, alone, they revisit them with a kind of honesty that only solitude allows. Sometimes they imagine conversations that will never happen, things they would say if the moment felt right, advice they hold back because they do not want to interfere. In their mind, these conversations are clear. in reality, they remain unspoken. There is also a quieter realization that settles in over time. They are aware that their time is not endless, not in a dramatic way, just steady and calm. They measure their days differently now by moments of connection, however small. And in the middle of all this, there is something simple. They miss you, not in a way that demands your presence. They miss the ordinary version of you, the version that was simply there, filling the house with movement and noise. What makes this harder is that they do not always say it directly. They might ask practical questions instead. Have you eaten? Are you sleeping well? How is work? Beneath those questions is something softer, a desire to remain part of your life. And there is something even quieter than all of this. It is the way they listen to the house itself, the small sounds, a clock ticking, a distant car passing by. These sounds become companions in a strange way. Sometimes they stand by a window longer than necessary, looking out into a night that does not change much. It is about feeling connected to a world that is still moving, even if their own evening feels still. There are nights when they think about calling you, not because something is wrong, but simply because they want to hear your voice. But then they hesitate. They wonder if you are busy, if you are tired, and more often than not, they decide against it. And in that hesitation, something subtle happens. They adjust their expectations, not with resentment, just quietly. They tell themselves it is okay. But belief does not always erase feeling. There are also moments when they try to fill that space with small tasks, folding something, rearranging items. It gives their hands something to do. And then there are the nights when sleep does not come easily. They lie there thinking about you, about whether you are happy in ways you might not share. They wonder if you still see them as someone you can turn to. They do not ask these questions. They hold them quietly. Sometimes they smile to themselves in the dark. A memory surfaces, something small you did years ago. These are the pieces they hold on to. And here is something you might not expect. They are not only thinking about the past, they are also thinking about how to show up for you now. They are learning how to love you in a way that fits your life today. That takes effort, more than you see. Because loving someone from a distance is not passive. It requires patience, the ability to step back without feeling like you have disappeared. And yet, despite all of this, they adapt. They find ways to make peace with the quiet. They build small routines. But adaptation does not mean the absence of longing. So, what do you do with all of this? You do not need to change your entire life. You do not need to feel guilty for growing up. That is what they wanted. But you can be more intentional. Call them without a reason. Let the conversation stretch a little longer. Ask them about their day and mean it. Visit when you can. And when you are with them, be fully there. Because these small choices matter more than you realize. They remind your parent that they are still seen, still heard. And here's the part that is hard to avoid. There will come a time when these late-night routines stop, when the chair sits empty, when the phone no longer lights up in their hands. And you will look back at the small moments you almost gave away. You will wish you had stayed a little longer, listened without rushing. And yet, this is not meant to leave you with regret. It is a quiet invitation, a chance to step a little closer, because somewhere tonight, after everything goes still, your parent will sit in that familiar silence, holding pieces of a life that once revolved around you. And the only thing they truly want is to know that they are not living those nights without you anymore. And somewhere in that same quiet, they will pick up their phone one last time before sleep, not expecting anything, just hoping that for a moment, in the middle of your busy life, you remember them not as a responsibility, but as someone still waiting in the present. Because at the end of all the years, all the noise, all the distance that life slowly builds, the truth remains simple. They are still there, and they are still hoping that tonight you choose them. But what makes this so easy to miss is how quietly they carry that hope. They do not announce it. They do not remind you. They do not ask you to rearrange your life or give them more than you can. They have already spent years learning how to give without asking for much in return. So even now, When the days feel longer and the nights feel heavier, they continue that same pattern. They wait without pressure. They care without conditions. They love without interruption. And you might think they understand, that they know you are busy, that they do not take it personally. And in many ways, they do understand. They have lived enough life to know how responsibilities grow, how time slips, how distance happens slowly. But understanding something does not mean it is not hurt in small, quiet ways. It just means they have learned how to sit with that feeling without letting it reach you. There will never be a perfect moment to give them your time. Life will always be full. There will always be something unfinished, something urgent, something pulling your attention elsewhere. But to them, even a small interruption from you feels bigger than you realize. A few extra minutes, a call that was not planned, a question that shows you were thinking about them when you did not have to. Because what they are really holding on to is not time itself. It is the feeling of still being part of your life.